Hi, good morning. Welcome to SolvePage YouTube channel. Today we're going to discuss about how to configure lock shipping between the two servers. So let's see what is lock shipping first. Lock shipping is one of the high availabilities that we have in SQL Server. It is a database level high availability that makes the data highly available. So first see what are the prerequisites do we follow to configure the lock shipping. From which version we can configure the lock shipping, like which version it was introduced. It was introduced in 2005. So we can configure the lock shipping on the SQL Server 2005 or a later versions. Okay. So which versions we have to select like as a primary and secondary? It would be good like if we can select both versions same, like if you select the primary as 2016, it would be good to select as secondary as a 2016 as well. Okay. Higher to lower version. For instance, primary is 2016 and secondary is 2014 SQL Server version. It's not possible to configure lock shipping. See, we cannot configure the lock shipping way because we cannot back up and restore from higher version to lower version, as you know already. Right. What from lower version to higher version? Yes, we can configure the lock shipping from lower version to higher version, but whenever we do the failover, it's not possible. So better to go with the same versions. Coming to the editions, we have only few editions which supports lock shipping. That is standard edition, workgroup edition, evolution, and enterprise edition. So these are the editions that supports lock shipping. Coming to the collation should be same for the primary and secondary service. I mean primary and secondary databases because it is database level high availability. And the recovery model. Since it is a database level, we have to consider this recovery model. So the database should be full recovery model or a bulk log recovery model. Simple recovery model, we cannot configure this log shipping because it deals with the log backups. Since we cannot take the log backups in simple recovery model, we cannot take into the consideration. Okay, so only a full or a bulk log recovery model databases. And coming to the permissions, which permission we need to configure this lock shipping? We need sysadmin privileges to configure the lock shipping, and the agent should be online because the data transfer will be happening through the jobs only. So that's why the agent should be configured properly, and the agent should be up and running. One more thing, we have to create two folders, a backup folder on the primary side, copy folder on the secondary side. But the both folders should be shared and the folder should have a read write permissions. So these are the prerequisites we have. Just go to the configuration of lock shipping. I have two nodes here, node 3 and node 4. Node 3 I'm taking as a primary, node 4 as a secondary. Okay. So let's create a new database which is in full recovery mode. I'm taking as like L this L1, just giving the name as L1, and make sure the recovery model is full. We just created a new database. So for this I have to configure lock shipping for this. So the version it is 2017 and it is 2015. So better to take another node which is 2017. So I'm just it's connecting it. Mm. So I'm taking node 5 as secondary. It is also 2017 version C 14.0 and 14.0. So we're good with the versions. So first thing, so I've created a database on a primary node. The same database should be in secondary. We have to transfer the database to the secondary. Like this, I'm calling it as data initialization. So for this data initialization, I'm taking a full backup on a log backup. So take a full on log backup on primary server and restore it, restore the full on log backups. Okay, so this is a process for data initialization. So instead of this, we can automate this process. So I'm directly going to this always on configuration. Sorry, lock shipping configuration. Select the transaction lock shipping. Enable this as a primary database in lock shipping configuration. Backup settings. So network path of the backup folder. So as we discussed, we have to create backup folder on the primary side and copy folder on the secondary side. So I've created a backup folder. Backup folder should be shared. Select everyone. That should be good. And everyone should have read write permissions sharing this folder. So I have given the read write permissions and the folders have been shared. So I have to give the path, like I have to give the network path which I have selected. So I'm giving network path. If the backup folder is located on the primary server, type the local path to the folder. So we have to give the local path. Open the folder and I'm just giving the local path here. Okay, and we have to schedule the jobs because the data transfer is happening through the jobs here, as you know already. Log shipping, the data transfer is happening through the jobs. What are those jobs? Backup job, copy jobs, restore job. So the default time is 15 minutes. I'm scheduling it for 1 minute because we are doing it for demo purpose. We cannot wait for 15 minutes. So I'm just giving us 1 minute. So for every 1 minute, the the log backup will happen. The retention I'm putting is only 1 hour. Otherwise, we're getting a lot of files. So retention I'm giving only 1 hour. I've just created a log backup job. Then we have to connect to the secondary server. What is secondary? My secondary is node 5. See here, data initialization options. So actually we have to take one full backup and log backup and we have to restore it on secondary side for the data initialization. But we have an automated process here. See here, if you select the first option, the SQL server itself, it will take a full unlog backups and it will restore it on a secondary service. If you select second one, you have to take the backups and we have to give the path where the backup files are. The SQL server itself will do the restore. If you already done everything, like if you take, if you taken the full backup, log backup, you have restored already, then you can select this one. So I'm going for this store paths. If you want to go with the default paths, just click on OK without giving anything. So it will take automatically the backups and it will restore it. And so data initialization, I have done it through the automated process. And then you have to configure the copy job. For that, we have to create a copy folder. So copy folder, we have to create in a secondary node. Okay, make sure that the copy folder should be created on secondary one. It is just demo I'm giving, I'm creating in on one location. But make sure you will be creating a copy folder on node 2, I mean the secondary server. The same thing, the folder should be shared and should have read write permissions. So destination folder is like copy folder, and the schedule should be occurs every 1 minute. The retention is also 1 hour, and the restore job you have to schedule it for only 1 minute. I'm studying it, and the log shipping having two modes. Log shipping modes. We have two modes actually. One is for log shipping with no recovery. Log shipping with standby. So if you configure the log shipping with no recovery mode, the database, secondary database is in restoring mode. You cannot access it. If you configure it with standby mode, secondary database is in standby mode, then you can read it from the secondary. You can read the database from the secondary. So I'm selecting with standby only, sorry, with no recovery mode only. So I'm just clicking on it. So I have done the data initialization here. I have created a copy job and I have created a restore job. See, it was created, right? So I haven't done anything, The SQL Server itself taken the backup from here and restored it. Okay, the log shipping has been configured. Let's see the backups. See, this is, the SQL Server had taken for the data initialization. This is not the regular, backup. So after 1 minute, we can see the backup, the log backup, which was happened here, and the same one, see here, the same log backup should have copied to copy folder after 1 minute. See, we can also check it here from here itself. Go to the server reports, standard reports, transaction log shipping status. Here you can check like. So this is the recent backup file. If you want to see the copy, copy job on the restore job, you have to go to the secondary server, reports, standard reports, transaction log shipping status. Here you can see the recent copied file and the recent restored file. Just wait for some time. So we have to wait for some time. So if you, insert any data on the primary side, you have to wait for 3 minutes to replicate the same data on the secondary side, because first the log backup should happen, then the same log backup should copy to copy folder, and the restore should happen. So it will take 3 minutes. Since we have selected job frequency as 1 minute. See here, last restored file. And this way we can configure, log shipping. The next video we can see how to do the manual failover and a manual failback. Thank you.